What's up, YouTube? Let's show you how to cook a steak. Yes. It's your boy King Cobra JFS. We got some Angus beef. Some steaks right there, yes. We want to cook one up right quick to show you how I do this King Cobra JFS style. Alright, I do appreciate you all tuning into the cooking video. This is going to be sweet. We got our pan plugged in. We're ready to make this treat. Before we lay down that steak and season it, we need to prepare our pan for the bottom half of our steak. So we got some pre-made bacon grease, a little bit of that country crock butter. We're going to put a splash of that in the bottom. Now we're going to use that there fork to season up our steak again, but we'll wait on that a second. We'll take our liquid smoke and we're going to put a couple drops on top of that butter. Yes. That'll do just nicely, YouTube. Just like that. Alright, so now we're going to pull a steak out. We got some Angus beef. Look at that. Beautiful. Just some basic. Nothing too fancy, YouTube, but there we go. Some Angus beef. Yes. And we might just do both pieces. We need another fork for tenderizing it. You take a fork and we're going to stab the steak with it. And stab it through so it goes through both sides. And we're doing this because we want to season both sides with some Rust County Payne all meat seasoning. It's what I use. Pretty good stuff. Not a sponsor. Get whatever meat seasoning you want to use. So now we got it de-thawed to room temperature to where it's nice and squishy. Season this side up. Plop that side down first. And then we're going to season the other side of it. Now we're going to do that to the same goddamn steak in this other package here. Yes, sir. Now we got our knife for poking, fork, whatever. I'm using a fork. We're going to take this fork and we're going to stab it through to the other side of the meat. This will help tenderize it and all that flavor is going to soak into it. You take a knife or a fork and you want to stab it full of holes when it's nice and pink and tender. Just before we turn on the pan and we cook it. Now I'm just taking it and the fork and stabbing it through until we get to the other side. A couple holes for both sides. Beautiful. Now we got that punctured. We're going to add a sprinkle of seasoning to this side. Yes. Flop that seasoned side down first, just like the last one. And then we're going to season the top of that, just like that. Beautiful. I'm going to wash my hands real quick. I do appreciate y'all tuning into the video. I'm going to get the pan and cover that. Before we continue with the cooking, we're going to cover that up real quick. I'm going to clean up that seasoning that I made a mess on right here on the side. that seasoning cleaned up real quick. Don't mind me. Okay. Now this recipe works for pretty much any steak. This is just your basic. It's gonna fucking taste good when you try it, kind of thing. There's the butter and knife. We're gonna throw that in the sink here in a second. Before we do, we're gonna add some flavor into the top of our steaks. I'm gonna take a little bit of that there butter, plop it on top. A little dollop of that right there. This is definitely cheating food. This is how I make my steaks. A little bit of meat seasoning, some butter, and some beer, and some liquid smoke. Yes. That's what's up. I'll wash that fork off. Alright, that's enough butter, but we need a couple more drops of liquid smoke on top of that. So sit back. Look out. We got our liquid smoke. I'm going to throw a couple drops on top of the steak. Just like that. Yes, that's enough liquid smoke. We don't want too much. Enough to flavor it. And you can see where all that's in there, just like that. Beautiful liquid smoke and butter on top. Now we're gonna soak it in beer. Use whatever kind of beer you like. So I'm gonna pour some Bud Light Platinum on top of each one. And a little bit more. And I'm gonna turn the stove pan on to a medium. Let that pan heat up. Yes. Now I am going to save a little bit of beer for after this side's done cooking. So we're going to save about that much beer left in the bottle, but the rest we can drink. So then we'll just open another one. Cooking with Cobra, yes. Now as soon as these steaks are done, we're going to put them on a plate. We're going to cut them up, and we're going to make them extra dank. Yes. Now those steaks are going to cook up in that beer, that liquid smoke, and that butter, and that seasoning. This recipe works with any goddamn steak, no matter how thick or small. Just do it up. You know what I'm saying, YouTube? Yes. Cooking up your beer on your steak like this is super unnutritious, but it's so flipping good. And when you give it a flip, you pour a splash on top of the other side, let it cook and do its thing. Oh yes, that is going to make those super flippin' dank. Now we need to put them on a plate after the bowl, because we got to transfer it to a plate where we can do it up a bit more, make it more dank. Like what? Cooking it in butter and Country Crock Original and some beer wasn't dank enough. Putting the Russ County meat seasoning on it wasn't enough. Oh, King Cobra fan, we're going to put some melted cheese on the steak. they're not exactly the thickest of steaks, but it's a basic steak recipe. You let the steak thaw till it's raw at room temperature. Poke holes through it. Season both sides. Drop seasoned side down first into butter and liquid smoke. Address top with butter, liquid smoke, seasoning, and some beer. I'm going to use a flip. A little bit of grease, but that's easy enough to clean up. Put a splash of that beer on top and let it do its thing. I'm going to turn the heat down to a nice below medium. Let it simmer, and that's nice and tender. Yes. Instead of being in a rush to cook it, we're going to let it simmer and all that buttery, beer, greasy love. Made with bacon grease, butter. Yes, beer, bacon grease, and butter. And a little bit of seasoning. Scratch that, we're not going to need a bowl for this. We'll just transfer it to the plate we're going to finish prepping the meal on. There we go. It's on a pretty low heat. Want to cook it nice and low and slow to give it a nice tenderized treat. There's enough grease in that pan to fry up these steaks just beautifully. Fucking use whatever beer and butter you want. But would Cobra recommend frying his steaks in beer and butter? Yes. It's unhealthy. It's delicious. Makes your arteries just dance a clog tune like, yeah, that's good. That's like a rare treat every once in a while, or generally when you prepare your steaks. Yeah. And these steaks are not exactly the thickest, but this is my basic preparation for making something like this. Delicious steak. Let's try cutting it up into like slices and melting some cheese on it and seeing how it do. Booyah, you two, making some steaks, drinking a beer. That's how we do. Cheesy steak dish. Like, what the fuck is this? Cobra just pours beer and liquid smoke and butter and seasoning into a pan. Pokes holes through both sides of the steaks so you can season them and it can all soak in the flavors beautifully. Yes. It's below medium heat, so it'll cook them nice and slow. You don't want to rush this. Just want to cook it nice and slow. Want all the beer and the butter just tenderize into that fucking meat like yes. YouTube is gonna be like. Now I want them nice medium rare too. I don't want them to be all like fucking medium well if I can help it. Oh, yes. I want to let these cook up and do their thing, man. Nice and low and slow. Doing a nice low heat. So the butter that's already melted in there with the beer just caramelizes on the inside of that. This recipe works with any sort of steak. I'm getting what I can afford and what's readily available, so there you go. Cooking, yay. Turn that heat back up to a medium and get these cooked a little bit longer. I don't want to cook them for too much longer though, because they're looking just about right. Yes, you too. Should we have another brewski to celebrate glorious and a toast to the meat that we are about to be bestowed with, you two. I'm not cooking these for too much longer because I want them to be a little bit pink in the middle. Give these a flip. These are just about done. I'll save the grease for cooking the other things too, the leftovers they may have, or like the salmon, you know. It's good grease, why let it go to waste? Give it a flip. It's about the recipe at the end of the day, not how big your steaks are, but how big the recipe goes for taste, really. Delicious. Go ahead and unplug that. You know, there'll be a lot of steak snobs who are going to scoff at me for this, but who cares? You got two little Angus steaks. I want to cut them up into pieces and sprinkle it with cheese. I'll dry off my hands real quick. Yeah, these things have already been soaking in seasons. Oh, that just smells bloody fucking delicious. That Russ County Paint on Meat seasoning is really good. Use whatever seasoning you're most comfortable with. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of cut this steak into strips. Check to see how well I did cooking it. Oh yeah, that's cooked. There's no pink in the middle, but at least it's not overdone. I was hoping for a medium rare, but that's alright. I'm gonna cut these steaks into like little strips, just like that. I'm gonna make little cheese fries with them. Cut them into little strips. Strips of Angus. Yes. You see, we're gonna cut these fucking strips into like little Little dealios. Make little strips. There we go. Let's try a little slice of it. Oh my fucking god, yes. YouTube, just a little slice I tried by itself was so fucking dank. The butter, the beer, the seasoning, it was all just cooked just so beautifully. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna sit them up across on the plate here. I'm gonna clean this off. I'm gonna wash my hands. We got our strips ready. Hold on a second. Oh my god, YouTube, those strips, those steak strips, yes. I cooked that steak beautifully. Would I recommend cooking your steak in butter and beer? Absolutely, it's delicious. A little bit of all meat seasoning, some beer and some butter, and a hot skillet is all you need. And a little bit of bacon grease in with that butter. Yes. Okay, King Cobra fan, let me take you on a journey right quick. We got this steak cooked up into some delicious munchable strips. I like little steak chips. Alright, let my hands dry for a second, and then we're going to sprinkle some sharp cheddar cheese on top and make these little bites pop. What you think, YouTube? Can you dig Cobra's cooking videos? Can you subscribe for more? Yes. So now we're busting out the bag of cheese. Yes, please. The Lucraine medium cheddar cheese, the family size bag. Yes, sir. Then we'll put some cheese on top of each little piece. And sprinkle some Parmesan on top of that. And microwave that son bitch. And be like, hey, look, we got cheesy steak bites, mother. What up with that? Oh, yeah, don't drink alcohol unless you're of age. Trust me on this. When the adults pop you with that shit, it's not fun, kiddos. But when you cook these steak bites in beer, all the alcohol is gonna cook off, so you'll just get the flavor of it. So there you go. We crack open this bag of cheese, yes please, and we're gonna sprinkle it with these. Now we're gonna sprinkle these steak bites, little steak strips with cheese. A little bit of cheese on top, a little snacky poo, a little cheesy goodness, yes. YouTube, we're making some cheesy steak bites. Oh shit, these are gonna be legit good. And this works with any like steak recipe. You want to make the bites thicker, get a thicker steak. But here you go. A little bit more cheese on this side and on this side. Yes, perfect. Now I'm gonna squizzle that before I put it back. Yes, that medium cheddar is making it much better. Now we're going to microwave this so the cheese melts on top of our steak bits, and then we're going to cover it and some toppings, maybe some hot sauce and some guacamole, whatever the fuck we feel like putting on it, because it's our fucking snack, YouTube. This is our food. Look at this. Cheesy steak bites. YouTube. Cheesy fried in butter and beer. Just sprinkle with cheese. Oh, yes, please. YouTube, look out. We crafted some witchcraft up in these streets, YouTube, up in these kitchens. Let the trolls continue bitching. They wish they was as cool as me, man. Give it a minute and 44 seconds. We just want the cheese to be nice and melted on top of those strips. Yes, please. Now we need some guacamole and some hot sauce. See what we got for hot sauces, man. We got a nice collection of hot sauces. We don't want nothing too spicy. Some of these hot sauces are pretty fucking mean, y'all. Ain't gonna stunt. Alright, let's go with the ghost pepper. Got some ghost pepper and some guacamole. Get some guacamole and some ghost pepper on top of those bites. A little bit of heat for that treat. No, YouTube, this is just ridiculous. The shit they do for YouTube. We need a clean fork. Yes. For munching and crunching. YouTube, no stopping. We popping with this recipe. Subscribe for more, YouTube. You feeling the hype? Are you feeling the fucking hype? We got some guacamole. We got some ghost pepper hot sauce. We're putting on top of some medium cheddar. And some beer butter fried steak. Jesus fucking H is a C-bombing motherfucker. This is gonna be some good shit. Yes, all that cheese has melted. Yes, please. And with these, we're gonna scoop it up onto those pieces of steak. Yes, YouTube, this just looks delicious. I only need a fork for this motherfucker. Steak bites. Steak bites, YouTube. All the steak and the cheese melted together with ease. That steak was already cooked, yo, so we Gucci. We're gonna slap it with some ghost pepper sauce. Now, adding hot sauce is optional, but hot sauce tastes good. There's our ghost pepper sauce. That's a perfect amount. Not too spicy, but not too, like, mild neither. Look at that. All that melted cheese. Those steak bites. Now we're going to take our mashed avocado from Simple Truth. And we're going to sprinkle it on top of our steak. Yes. We're going to take that avocado cup and split it. Some ghost pepper sauce, hot sauce, some avocado. Stick it on top of our melted cheese and our steak. Now, I never attempted this dish. I have no idea how it's going to taste. But little steak bites, a little something to snack on. Yo, I'm using the same fork to eat this. Fuck it. It just had hot sauce and avocado on it, so we're good. King Cobra fam, look at that. Ghost peppers, avocado, medium cheddar, beer fried, baked in bacon, grease, butter, and beer. Your boy Cobra gotta get a hit of this real quick. That steak, oh yeah, fam, that was cooked to perfection. Even if it wasn't medium rare, medium well is acceptable, in my opinion. As long as it ain't overcooked. YouTube fam, them steak bits is dynamite. That ghost pepper provide a nice flex. Oh yes, that ghost pepper hot sauce is hot enough to add some stank on that heat. Spicy, cheesy, guacamole covered treat. Yo, if you don't want to put hot sauce on it, you don't got to, man. But I was craving some hot sauce. Oh shit, YouTube. Steak, cheese, hot sauce, guacamole. Oh yes, that ghost pepper hot sauce is straight fire, YouTube. Burning your mouth up. Flavor, that's what's up. But it's not too hot. Oh, YouTube, if you could only try this right now. Cooking with Cobes, baby. Oh, YouTube. Them ghost pepper kick. This is slick. YouTube. Your boy Cobra's done it again. Melted cheese, steak, cheese, guacamole. Cheers. I always snack on this the rest of the night.